In this video, I'm going to explain my piece Gleen Flondy Forest and share the inspiration behind it and how I went about writing it. I first came across the idea of vocoding someone to music through a video on YouTube of an episode of SpongeBob vocoded to Coolio's Gangster's Paradise. This resulted in such satisfying timbre and broken music fragments, all at the mercy of the human voice. My other primary inspiration for this piece is Rushed Eggleston. Many of his works take place in this world he created called Snee. They all expand on the story of this world in humorous and lighthearted ways. He extensively uses sound poetry, similar to the pseudo-English of Jabberwocky. The words that he uses that are real are obscured by the context of his own made-up language.
Flying through the glitchy, flying through the air, flying where the thimblewickers have a secret lair. No one knows I'm grumbling, and I don't think it's fair that I should have to pack the sleeping sack as grumble watchers fare.
I really wanted Gleen Flondy Forest to display how ambiguous language can sometimes really spark the imagination. By describing what is evidently some fantasy forest with all these strange worlds, one tries to envision things as strange as the words sound. The nonsense almost sparks the imagination, since you have to make up what everything means on the spot. A lot of the text I wrote myself, just making up words that sounded satisfying to me, but for the second movement I was really inspired by philosophical and spiritual quotes I'd seen online and wanted to emulate that feeling. So I found a website with 10,000 spiritual quotes on it, and with the help of my tech-savvy dad, grabbed pretty much all of these quotes from the website, before they IP banned us for botting, and put them in a Markov chain, a type of predictive neural network. I could adjust how coherent the Markov chain's generated text was, so I slowly introduced more and more coherent text during the second movement. I also used the Markov chain for other movements, but trained it with a list of all the species in Finland or Earth. I can't remember, but a lot of species. That gave me a bunch of cool nouns that I could just insert instead of coming up with my own way of making nonsense, which was starting to get a little repetitive. As for writing the actual music, it was simpler but not without challenge. I needed to have a steady full texture so I could get good clarity when vocoding. And because the music was pre-recorded, it couldn't just follow the speaker, so it had to be dynamically and expressively consistent. I urged my musicians to go against their instinct and play as deadpan as possible. After I got sent the recordings, I mixed them together and added the trap beats. I wanted Gleen Flondy Forest to follow a loose storyline, and certainly all be set in the same world, like Eggleston's poetry, but he didn't want the story to be front and center, or detectable at all without actual study. The first movement is a character's stream of consciousness and exploration of the forest they live in. The second movement is a wise sage telling this character all of this wondrous knowledge. And the third movement is that character, enlightened with the knowledge, ascending from the world and leaving reality, as the text gets less and less comprehensible and the music slowly transitions to a single chord instead of the cacophonous backgrounds of before. This story isn't super evident, it's only really explained in the titles of the movements, but it felt important to have at least a nod to the hero's journey and fantasy tropes. Also, according to YouTube statistics, only a small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. If you do end up liking this video, consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always unsubscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video.